Hey freaking flyers, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're not flying because we are doing a Flight Attendant Reacts. HBO Max's hit show The Flight Attendant is back for season 2. I know I'm a couple weeks late, but I have watched episode 1 and boy, do we have a lot to discuss. Okay, so I'm gonna get my little notes out. Season 1, I wrote them down. This time I didn't have time to write. We was typing on the phone, we was doing voice memos, voice to text, and all kinds of things. Hey, I'm filming a video right now. Can I call you back in like 15 minutes? Okay, thank you. So, season 2, episode 1, episode titled Seeing Double. It'll make sense in a moment. Also, spoiler alerts, because this is a recap review. We're gonna talk about stuff that happened in the episode. So if you haven't seen it, go ahead and see it. If you don't have HBO Max, get you a subscription now. Or watch this show. Among the other things that are on there. Shameless plug. So season 2, episode 1 picks up with Cassie. Quite a bit of time has passed. My sis she's gone quite a bit of time without drinking. And so we see her in what I believe is an AA meeting. She's like up and presenting at the time. We learn that she's moved to LA. So she's now a West Coaster. She has a new boyfriend. His name is Marco. And she has her part-time job, which is being an asset for the CIA. So she does that. She's still flying. She's a flight attendant. Hence the show title. And through that interaction and other parts of the AA meeting, we see that Cassie's a pretty much stable person. She is in a better place than she was season 1. She's happy. Although some people will say it's a facade. I haven't had that experience to tell you, but right now, she's in a good place. So, she gets home from the AA meeting, and there's an envelope on the front step. It has a mysterious key in it. Given her history, who knows where this is going to go, but just lock it in there that there's a key, in an envelope waiting for her. So, we, in the next scene, meet her boyfriend. His name is Marco. They have this nice playful banter. They have what seems to be a very, playful and light relationship, but they do care about each other. And then we do see them go into a very hot adult scene, if you know what I mean, okay? The next day, Cassie wakes up. She's going to work because she has a trip to work. So we get to see some flight attendant content. Let's go. All right, so on her way to work, she comes into this parking garage where she meets her handler. So this is sort of like her boss at the CIA, and he gives her her new mark that she's going to be, looking out for while she's on her next trip, where her layover is in Berlin. They kind of go back and forth. Interesting relationship. Apparently, she be on these trips doing work for the CIA. Talk about doing work on your layovers, like, this is like work. But anyway, Cassie being Cassie, she has a history of, doing a little bit too much, being a little bit too involved. And so he's kind of like wanting her like, you need to lay low, just chill, just watch, just do what we asked you to do. None of the extra. She gets to the airport, she runs into Shane. You all remember Shane season 1. He's also the flight attendant at Imperial Atlantic, the airline that they work for. But we learned in season 1 that he is also a CIA agent. And he's actually just been undercover working there as a means of getting around. So they see each other, but they're not working together. Womp womp. But she is working with Jada. I think the girl's name was Jada, who's the other flight attendant from season 1. We only met like 4 flight attendants. And so Shane, Jada, Cassie, Megan. I think Jada was the other flight attendant that was on their trips. And so Jada's on this trip and she's watching Cassie like a hawk. She's like, look, I'm not Megan. I'm flying lead. I'm the HBIC, and this is how things are going to go. Cassie's like, you know what? I'm doing this whole sober thing now. I'm on, I think she said, what, 2 years clean, 1 year clean, something crazy like that. Like, ain't no gonna be no issues. And she was like, it better not be. So, there's that. Let me also note that they're showing more flight attendants on board, which is really good. We meet a new flight attendant that gets introduced to the mix. I don't remember her name. Short blonde cut. I'll put it on the screen. But we meet a new flight attendant, and this time they actually show like 2, 4, 6, like 7 flight attendants walking down the jet bridge on the plane. But when the plane took off, it was an A380. We know it's a lot more than 7 flight attendants on an Airbus A380, but we're gonna let that one slide. I'm just happy they show more flight attendants. So they get to Berlin, Cassie's on her layover, she's about to start doing the whole, CIA asset thing and go looking for her mark, which she bumps in, she sees him in the hotel. He also has gets a phone call from Annie, her best friend from season 1. They were tight, they fell out, they came back together at the end. Annie and boyfriend Max, also season 1, they are coming to LA. They're staying at Cassie's place because Annie is looking at jobs. I believe they're in the process of relocating, which would be nice to have them closer so they can be in the mix. Anyway, while she's also in the lobby, she's trying to watch the mark, and she bumps into a couple, which we think are just a couple that were on the flight. That's where they recognize her, and they were just trying to say thank you. But what we learned is that it was a deploy to distract her, because the dude's like holding his phone by her bag, like ciphering information. I'm assuming off of maybe her phone that's in her bag or whatever, something in her bag, because it's like showing his device, the percentage is running up to 100%. So she already in some mess and don't even know it. That's how she be getting into it. Like, okay, so she goes into the bar. She's talking to the Mark. We learn that his name is Will. They're just having casual conversation. She follows him all day. Now, this is the part of her doing too much, being too close, that her boss at the CIA warned her about. Yeah, she's still doing it. She follows this man all day, into the evening, into the night. There's some weird transactions. He goes to some places, some undisclosed locations, and picked up some things, and he ends up in this hotel. She gets deployed to go see the hotel from another room, and she's like watching from this hotel room into the hotel room that he's in. He has an adult encounter with somebody, but the somebody looks just like Cassie. Like, same tattoos, same hair, like looks just like her, okay? Real weird. She also sees on the floor above, the floor that the dude and the girl is in, that there's some other gentlemen that looks like they on a little stakeout type situation, and they kind of see her and she see them, and they see her each other, but then like they close the curtains or whatever. We'll come back to that too. So anyway, the Mark, whose name is Will, we're just gonna call him Mark Will, he leaves the hotel room and she leaves her room to try to catch up with him. We see him on the street. She gets a phone call. Who's the phone call from? The phone call is from Megan, y'all, because y'all know Megan running. She on the run away because all that crazy stuff she did in season 1. Yeah. My sister's still out here on the run. She gets a weird call from Megan, but she really can't talk because, you know, she's trying to watch the dude, see what's going on. And Megan's like, hey, did you get a key? And that's all we hear before, like, she drops her phone. So we're assuming that somebody got Megan. But yes, Cassie did get a key. If you remember in the beginning, she got a key on the front sport. She got the key on the front step when she came home from AA. So what's going on? Because there's a lot of moving pieces happening. They're doing a really good job of this setup for the season in this episode 1. So as soon as she kind of hangs out with Megan, she sees Will, the Mark, get into a car. Boom! Car just blows up. Big old explosion. Like, and she was not far from the scene of that explosion. Then she, like, kind of sees, like, the lady walking off. But basically, she then re-enters the purgatory. If you remember, the purgatory is this space that kind of haunts her. This third in the mind space that kind of haunts her. The whole first season, it was in the hotel room where she found Mr. Man dead to the bed. Okay? But this time, the purgatory is the hotel lobby, but instead of it being dude that was dead to the bed talking to her in the purgatory, it's herself. Like, she sees herself at various ages talking to present Cassie. It's like past Cassie's. Like, hey girl, what's up? Like, oh, this and this. Real freaky. So we're going to get more of that Cassie leaving the present to kind of mentally go somewhere else all throughout the rest of the episode, and I'm assuming for the rest of the season. Okay, so after that, she tries to make her way back to her hotel room. This is where stuff starts to get real crazy. She gets to the hotel room, the key card don't work. Y'all know that is like, if you live in and out of hotels, you understand that whole key card situation. It happens quite frequently, but that night was not the night for her key card not to be working. So the housekeeper lets her into the room. She goes into her room. It's a lot going on. The ears ringing, like mind is cloudy or whatever. She sees the liquor from the mini bar. She resists the temptation, throws it all away, gets out of sight. Then she like goes. Wait, did she get a phone call? Yes, she like laid on the bed and she went back into purgatory or whatever. But then she realized she got a phone call. It was her boss. He was like, "Hey, we heard about an explosion. Are you okay?" She lied to him. Like, "Oh no, I won't dare. But I heard about it. But I won't dare." Lies. Okay. So then she starts to go like pack up whatever, she got a flight or whatever, who knows, making up some excuse to get off the phone. She goes looking for her stuff, I guess I'm assuming her luggage. It's not there. Like, luggage gone, okay? Nothing in the closet, nothing in that closet, nothing over there. All her stuff is just gone. Only thing that's left is a uniform, like one of her uniforms laid on the bed, which I'm assuming is the one she took off when she got there. Okay, so that's that. She goes downstairs. I don't know if it's the next day, it's the same night. I don't know the time. I'm off on the time right now. But anyway, she goes downstairs to the front desk or to concierge, and the lady greets her like, "Oh, you're back." And she was like, "Back? I haven't been there." She was like, "Yeah, you was here when you checked out." She was like, "Checked out? I haven't checked out." But speaking of, my key card didn't work when I got back to that room, and also all my stuff is missing. So how do you know if somebody's been in your room if you haven't been in your room? And they're like, "Oh, you checked out already." Like, "Oh, what's wrong with it?" Like, she's like, "I have not checked out." So now we're starting to get these little droplets of like, is this other person who looked like her actually impersonating her? Has someone else tampered with her? What happened with the, like, it's a whole lot going on. Okay, so then we get back to the plane because they're about to fly back home, which, pause for a second, because the airplane taking off was an A380, but the airplane that landed looked like a 777. What do we have going on? Which one is it? Which plane are they operating? Because the flight attendant and me can notice little things like that. Anyway, but while they're on that flight working back, she's talking to the, who's the blonde hair chick? Because I need to know who, I'm gonna have to look her up. But anyway, blonde hair flight attendant, shortcut, okay? They're talking or whatever, she asks her to deliver. She's watching the alcohol, it's kind of tempting, but she's, you know, avoiding the stresses. She asked her to take a drink to 4, was it 4 Charlie, 4C? Somebody in row 4. She takes a drink to row 4, passes to the guy with the cloudy eye. What we do, she has a flashback and realizes the guy with the cloudy eye was the guy that was in that other hotel room in the room above that was doing the secret surveillance. Yeah, that was him. And now he's on the flight. So she runs to the manifest and looks him up or whatever. That was real weird, that little run in. But anyway, she works the flight and they get back to the LAX, I'm assuming. Pause for a second because I'm assuming that this was the international flight back from Berlin to LAX, but they definitely came into the terminal like it was a regular domestic flight. This is international. Y'all should have went through customs. You know, these are the things that the flight attendant in me is picking up on. I don't know if the average viewer would actually notice that, but I'm just like, wasn't this an international flight? Why y'all coming back through out the domestic way? Y'all should have came off the plane into customs. Y'all shouldn't be in the main terminal. But anyway, when she comes out the jet bridge into the main terminal off an international flight, dude, Cloudy Eye 4A, what was his name? It was a rapper, Jim Jones. That was his name. That's how I remember that. He's like standing out there in the gate area, and he's like, "Hey, he's like trying to talk to her or whatever. And she's like, brush it off, go." He's chasing her. She kind of is rushing through the airport. He's kind of walking fast behind her. She darts off into the crew lounge. So you know, you got a dash to get in there. So he just can't come in there behind her. So that was that. Real weird. She goes back home. Annie and Max are home. They're kind of minking up. "Hey, what's going on? Look at you. You're an adult. Annie, you got a ring on your finger. Are you engaged, girl? What's going on?" Like, oh, you know, Annie's being Annie. Like, but no, we're happy to see Annie and Max. They are happy to see each other. It's like, let's make plans. Let's go do this. You know, somebody's at the door. Go outside. It's basically the CI, and they're like, "You need to come down to the field office." And she's like, "I gotta get this going on here." And it was like, that was not a request. Okay, so she makes up some excuse to leave Annie and Max at the house. She goes down to the field office. She has a really weird run-in with the director at the field office because the director is like, "Oh, well, are you okay? How are you? Like, you how are things since this, and this?" And then Cassie's like, "Oh, yeah. Since y'all know that I was there and I know something, let me tell you about this other stuff that I saw. When I was here, I saw this, and this, and this. I saw this guy upstairs. I saw somebody look at me." I'm assuming this is a director. This is somebody higher up than her boss in the CIA. And she's like, "Oh, you know, sometimes we see things that we didn't see, or we imagine things that didn't happen, like being very like, you kind of crazy, you didn't see what you think you saw kind of situation to my girl." And she's like, "I know what I saw. That girl looked like me. Somebody's trying to impersonate me. Like, what's going on?" And also, these people, these men that was upstairs doing surveillance above the dude that we were supposed to be following, like, what's up with all that? And so she's like, "Oh, that's a CIA informant, And also, as she's ushering her out, she's like, "We're going to let Imperial Atlantic know to ground you for a little bit." So I'm like, "Damn, Cassie, you just like me. You grounded too, girl." So now, Cassie won't be flying to give her some time to rest, okay? So as she's leaving the CIA office, she sees glossy-eyed dude, and he see him. but she, you know, leaves or whatever. And then she goes back home. She goes to return Megan's phone call, but Megan doesn't answer the phone because Megan is in a box. I mean, she is in a box somewhere, locked up. We see her like, girl, what you done got yourself into? She left her a voicemail, I'm assuming, or whatever, and then talking with Andy and Max, this, and this. Doorbell rings again. Like, girl, all these interactions. So it's the people returning her luggage, because she got like a notification that, oh, your luggage will be there within an hour or whatever. The luggage arrives. You know how if you've ever lost luggage before, the airline brings it to your house, all this kind of whatever. She brings the bags into the house. Immediately she's like, this ain't right. Let me say something. A flight attendant knows their bags. All our bags be black. All our bags could be exactly the same brand, same size, everything. It's something intrinsic where a flight attendant notices what bag is there. You notice things like, as a flight attendant, you know how you zip your bags. Do you put your zippers right in the middle? Do you put your zippers all the way to this side? Do you put your zippers all the way to that side? Do you have and Cassie's like, wait a minute, this ain't right. She was like, you see this little ribbon that's over here on the zipper on the side? That ribbon is always on the zipper in the middle. Something ain't going on here. So she opens up the bag and she's like, wait a minute. She sees a uniform dress. She's like, this ain't my dress. And it's like, what? It looks like your uniform. She's like, because mine be zipped up. This one ain't zipped up, like, or unzipped, whatever. Listen, you know your stuff. And then there's like this toy, like, looking thing or whatever in there. She's like, this ain't mine either. So what's going on with that? And she moves over to realize that there is a bloody wig in the bag too. She's like, I done touched. Now she done touched everything. And she's like, this is not mine. And then so Annie and Max are like, girl, what's going on? She's like, look, it's a whole lot going on. I can't tell you everything, but I can tell you some of the things. And I got a whole lot going on. And I did this and this happened and this happened and that happened. It's real traumatic. And now I think somebody's impersonating me. Some crazy shit could be going on right now. And they're like believing, but kind of like half believing, but really kind of believing given the circumstances of what really went down the last time. So she has a whole lot going on, and she's just like, somebody is impersonating me, and that is where the episode ends. Hello for the season premiere. That is how you open up a season. So y'all know I usually close these out with 3 questions that I'm wondering. First of all, where did this key come from? Who is this key from, and what does it go to? The second thing I want to know is that couple that was like ciphering that, distracting her to decipher that information. Like, first of all, what did they get? Because I thought her phone was in her hand, so I want to know what they got from her bag. Maybe it was in her bag. And then thirdly, I really want to know, where is Miranda? I remember my goodness Miranda, and I feel like we're not done with her. So I would really like to know, where is Miranda? Those are my 3 questions. Y'all, I'm about to go ahead and dive into episode 2, I think, right now. No, I'm gonna wait, because I like to film these reactions like fresh off of the watching the episode, because all the pieces just kind of like come together right away. So tomorrow, I'm probably gonna watch episode 2, and we're just gonna try to catch up. I don't know if the whole season is out yet, but either way, I want to catch up on it. And I'm Brandon, I'm a guy who flies, and I will see y'all the next time something happens, but probably once I watch episode 2.
It goes by.
HBO Max's hit show. Hey, oh, hold on. Insert any clip here. Bam. Okay,